What's up, guys? With Iron Banner coming to a close, after two, in my opinion, fine weeks, I wanted to actually take some time today to discuss ways that I think Iron Banner can still be improved by Bungie. I am trying to take this from a mostly optimistic standpoint. I realize some of these might not be especially realistic. Those are kind of some of the crazy ideas. But there are several that I believe are not just doable, but could be a huge boon to the event. And I think Bungie should really be looking at Iron Banner because it has had a lot of ups and downs over the last few years. As far as banners go, I actually thought the matchmaking this particular 2-week stretch was the best I've experienced in the SBMM era, or the more strict SBMM era. I felt like for most games, I was competitive. I felt like I was putting up kills. I felt like I could make a difference in my lobbies, which was fun. 90% of my matches, win or lose, were actually enjoyable, as crazy as that might sound. Whereas, 90% of my contest of elders are me pulling what's left of my hair out. So, it was a nice kind of change of pace. And it's not all perfect. Those outlier games are still very frustrating. And I wonder if Bungie needs to do a little more to either remove some of those outlier games or... Well, honestly, let's just get right into it. One of the first points is with regard to the Mercy system. And Iron Banner just had a change to the Mercy system prior to this event. And Mercies didn't happen as often. And I think that's the wrong way to approach this. I think Mercies should be more common than they are in the circumstances that they should happen. So let's say on average 10 to 20%, maybe 10 to 15 is more accurate, percent of your games are going to just be you outmatching another team or another team just completely outmatching you. And that's frustrating, and nobody wants to be stuck in those matches. And the problem I kept running into that I kept seeing is you would have scores where it's 120 to 56, but because the game had been going for 5 minutes, the salad man wouldn't call it. And that was frustrating, having to play these long, drawn-out games where this other team is controlling the map, they're influencing spawns, they're kind of forcing us to spawn on one side, then herding us like cattle, picking us off one by one. It's frustrating. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. Nobody likes to get spawn trapped. And so I think Banner needs to be a little more flexible. If not with its margins, there needs to be something else in there where it's like if this team is locked down 2 points for a considerable amount of time and the game is seeing these players are locked in, getting stuck and just getting picked apart, there needs to be something in the game of like, hey, you know what? This score threshold isn't changing as fast as we want, but this lead has been kind of insurmountable for a certain amount of time. When the game reaches a point of stagnation, I think Bungie should have something in place where it's like, you know what? Call it. Let's be done with this. Same thing, if a team jumps out to a 50-point lead and it's 70 to 12 or something early, just call it. Just get it done. Even if you have to reduce the rewards for Mercy games, having a few more of them, turning some of those very lopsided matches into 2 to 3 minute games rather than 5, 6, 7, 8 minute games makes a world of difference. Players don't get frustrated. They don't feel like, if I leave, then I'm just losing out on the rewards. But if I stay, I'm having a terrible time. And so that trade-off, is it worth it? For a lot of players, it's not. And players are going to leave, and then you're going to bring new players in to fill that, and they're going to have a bad time. So if you have to make it so Mercies reward less, so be it. Let there be a few more. just so players can move on with their lives and move on with their games. A little bit counter to that point, but still worth talking about, is I still believe Iron Banner needs a huge increase to its rewards. This is a game mode that has a 13.5 times multiplier for rank XP. And it still feels too long. Because if you're losing a lot of games, progression is bad. It's terrible. It feels awful. And Iron Banner doesn't even really matter until you've played those matches and completed that challenge on the week to get that multiplier. And that's, again, only if you're wearing 5 pieces of gear, you're doing the emblem, and again, you've played all those matches. So 18 matches. Your first 18 matches almost don't matter. Some of the later ones start to. But until you maximize that multiplier, the matches don't matter because you're not gaining ranks as fast as you want. You're not getting engrams as fast as you want, which those should be dropping more as well. I had one loss that dropped me 4 engrams. And I thought that was crazy because most of my losses didn't drop any. And then I had wins that were dropping 1, sometimes 2, sometimes none. And it's just so inconsistent. Wins, I hesitate to say wins should guarantee engrams because you can't realistically use all of those, at least not the way you would want to with the cost of focusing, and maybe that should change as well. But maybe they should just throw engrams, like, hey, every time you win, you're going to get one, and every loss, you have a chance to get one, something, or just drop more guns. Drop more guns. Just give us the guns. That's all we want. We want the guns. There should be more XP. It should be easier to reset Iron Banner, especially since it's a 2-week mode. It is a limited time mode. It's not around as often as Trials is. We should be able to rank it up faster. And I definitely think Bungie needs to do that. Whether that is changing the scale of the multiplier and increasing the high end. Maybe the multiplier starts higher and then goes up to like 18, 20%. Maybe that's what it takes. Just do it. Make the experience better for everyone. The high-end players love it because they're thriving. The middle of the pack players love it because they don't feel like they're stuck as much. And then you have the lower skill players who are still having a better time because at least they're moving. They're moving the... I'm sorry, I just put my foot up and I kicked my cat. I didn't kick him hard, for the record. I just didn't know he was there. He surprised me. You okay, bud? Yeah, he's okay. He stole my chair. I was standing to record this. He stole my chair. What was I saying? Yeah, it just makes the experience better for everybody to be able to rank up faster, get those engrams sooner. It's a win-win, and I really think Bungie should implement that. On the topic of rewards, the new armor set is awesome. At least I think so across the board. I think they all look great. I am a Titan. I think the Titan armor looks awesome. I love that they didn't just reprise a set. They made a fresh new Iron Banner set that looked awesome. We should be doing this more often. Iron Banner loot should be refreshing more often, specifically cosmetic loot. And I'm lumping armor in with that. I know armor has stats, but realistically, we're getting the armor to be able to use it with transmog. Iron Banner needs more unique rewards that are cosmetics, that are reasons to engage with the playlist beyond the grind for the guns. Because the grind for the guns isn't always fun. Getting the gun is the fun part. But wouldn't it be cool if along the way it was like Trials, and hey, you played enough matches where now you got a new Sparrow. Every expansion, here's a new Sparrow, a new Ghost, a new Skimmer, or Sparrow to earn. While you're playing, you have a chance to earn it on wins. Congratulations, you got this new thing. Isn't that cool? What if we brought back legendary weapon ornaments for the Iron Banner weapons that release that year? That is the ultimate low-hanging fruit of cosmetic rewards that I cannot believe Bungie has not gone back to the well on. People loved earning legendary weapon ornaments. People bought them in the Eververse store. I'm not saying we should do that. I do believe that legendary weapon ornaments should be earnable beyond the ritual weapons. Right now, that's just a ritual weapon thing. People used to play so much Gambit to get those rewards, to be able to earn those skins for those guns. I love having those. One of the things I love when they reprise older weapons, like they did with the Reckoning weapons, as much as I didn't care for that particular pool of weapons, I loved that I could put those skins I earned on them, those ornaments, and make the gun look really cool and Taken-y. I loved that. We need more of that. Put that in Iron Banner. Let me take my Tanasha's Mastery and make it look a little different. Doesn't need to be crazy. Maybe it's furry now. I don't know. That could be so cool, though. And it's a free thing. I don't know how much work that takes. I know that's an art asset. I know that's something you have to put in the game. But it's worth it. Because now you're not just getting those players to engage to get the gun. Now they got the gun, but now they want the ornament. So those players are going to keep playing. Those free-to-play players feel appreciated. They're coming to the game, and you know what? Hey, I had such a great time. Now I'm going to buy an expansion. I'm going to buy a dungeon key. Something like that, you know? That's what we need. We need more reasons for people to stay engaged with these playlists. I think they should do the same thing for Trials, but we're talking about Iron Banner here. Legendary weapon ornaments, in my mind, ignoring the actual dev time and cost, are the easiest way, in my mind, to keep players more engaged with this playlist. Earning a legendary weapon ornament would be awesome. It gives you something to brag about. Yo, I got the ornament. I got the ornament for my grenade launcher. This thing looks sick. Look at this thing. Oh, where'd you get the Iron Banner? I'm in. Let's go run some banner. I want that ornament. It looks so cool. It's going to go great with my Fuzzy Titan build, my Squishmallow Titan. And make the guns that you're putting in banner matter. There are good guns. I think Multi-Mach is great. I think Tanasha's is great. Lethal Abundance has its place. You know, you have the Waveframe GL when Tusk of the Boar came out. That thing's fine. You know, I don't think it's... You know, ever since the nerf to Chain Reaction on special GLs, I don't think it's anything to necessarily write home about. I don't think Claws of the Wolf is a great pulse rifle. I also think Grid Skipper just came out and power crept it. I think Grid Skipper is way better than Claws of the Wolf. And Grid Skipper is way easier to get. Because you can just farm it anytime you want. You don't have to wait for Banner. As long as you own the episode. The guns that come to Banner need to matter. Because that's how you're going to get PvE players to engage with PvP. When Trials has a really good gun, when the Summoner was up, and it got refreshed, and it got all those perks, people ran it. People ran Trials because they wanted the Summoner. When Cataphract was the meta GL, PvE players ran Trials because they needed it for raids and for dungeons. That's how you keep PvE players engaged with your mode. Even if they don't like PvP, they will play it if the loot is there. I love my Multi-Mach. I just got up to 10,000 kills on the Multi-Mach I earned in... God, what I want to say Season of the Lost, but that wasn't it. When did they reprise Season of the Wish? God, all the Marasov seasons just kind of blend together for me. They're not always my favorite. In Season of the Wish, when they brought back Multi-Mach, I got a great one, and I love it. And I've been using it in PvE, and I've been enjoying every minute I use it. I actually just took off my Tanashas again, because I was like, I want to try and use my Multi-Mach again. Love it. That's what got me playing Banner back then. Banner was awful in Season of the Wish. It was terrible. But I played it because I wanted that Multi-Mach. Everybody wanted Tusk of the Boar. I got a Tusk of the Boar. I wanted multi-mock, and I got what I wanted, and I love it. It's better than the one that Banshee is selling. So I take that with pride. People are like, oh, you bought the thing, and then they see how many kills I have on it. They're like, no, you did not. It's like, yeah, I like this gun. Not 10,000 kills in like 3 weeks that much, but it's important though. It keeps PvE players engaged. It keeps that pool of players large, which means that lower skill players are more likely to match lower skill players. It means the middle of the pack players have opportunities to maybe have hero moments. It keeps everybody happy. I get that game where I get to really slay out with the double-digit KDA. The crazy. I only died twice. I had a 13. I died one time. I had a 13 KDA. Isn't that nuts? What? Well, I died twice. Twice would be better. That would be 26 people. My math isn't mathing. But you get the idea. Everybody wants to have a hero moment. I'm not saying that everybody should just be able to slay out against a bunch of low-skill players. That is not what I am endorsing. But it presents opportunities for those mid-skill players to feel like top-tier players. It allows those top-tier players to play against more mid-tier players. Maybe some of those mid-tier players are like, you know what, I could beat this guy. And those low-skill players are like, boy, I'm glad I'm not getting my ass handed to me every single game while I try and get this sidearm. That's what matters. Keep those players engaged and put origin traits that matter in PvE on these guns. Skulking Wolf is fine for PvP. Nobody's bringing Tinashas into PvP. You have a PvP only, a mode-specific origin trait on a weapon that is going to dominate the PvE meta for some time. Put a PvE origin trait on it. Just do it. Even if it's field forged or something. Just put something on it. Just so people can feel like, yeah, okay, this is good, and it has this thing on it that I can use. Even if it's not great, it's better than one that literally does nothing for you outside of Iron Banner. That's the big stuff that I think really moves the needle, and that I feel like really is the realistic additions to the mode. Some other ideas. Specifically ways to kind of change the dynamic of Banner. You have one of two directions you can go. There's a fork in the road. You can focus less entirely on objective modes, because I feel like most people who I end up in a match with just want to play team deathmatch. They're all there for the kills. They're not playing the objective. That's why games take so long. They're not capping zones. So even if we're beating the other team, we're beating them with one zone under control. And we're fighting this war of attrition that we're winning, but at what cost? Most people don't, I feel like weirdly, most people don't know how to play control, let alone win control. So stop making it be control. Stop making it be tribute. Stop making it be fortress. And maybe fix eruption, because people don't like that. Once the good player starts popping off in the lobby, then it's over. Just make these deathmatch. Make these collision, like from comp. Make it just a neutral zone that moves around the map, that brings people together. Let's come together and fight. That's what we need, rather than everybody run in a big triangle. And when we cap C, we're going to go to B. And after you guys cap B, you're going to go to A. And then when we take B, you're going to go to C. And it's just this big triangle. And it's dumb and annoying, and I hate it. Let's just stop. Let's just be done with it. Let's move on with our lives. Alternatively, and less realistically, you could go super crazy. I don't know how many people who watch me remember Killzone 2 or Killzone 3. They were PS3 games. I know you probably heard of Killzone, but I don't know if you played the multiplayer. They had a mode called Warzone, not to be confused with Call of Duty. What was cool about Warzone is you got into a match, and a match could start with Team Deathmatch. And that Team Deathmatch segment would go for 2-3 minutes, however long. Whoever had the most kills at the end of the timer won the round. There wasn't this round change. It wasn't like Rift where screen fades to black and then you load in at your spawn. Everybody stays slaying. And then a new objective comes up. Now it's VIP. Now it's, we got to protect this person while we kill their person. And you do that, and whoever wins that gets a point. Then the next one is control. It's capture the flag. It's any number, plant the charge. You have all these really cool different modes, so you're playing a little bit of everything in one match, and you never know what to expect next. And you could be in position where it's like, oh, the thing's right here, let's go, come on, we have it, we can control it right now. And you can create these awesome dynamic moments. And so what if in the same match of Iron Banner, it started with Eruption, shifted to Fortress, then to Control? Spice things up. Give different players the opportunity to play their way. If you are a Slayer, you're going to get a mode that lets you slay, where you can show up and be like, I am going to put the team on my back for this round. You can have an objective team that's like, look, we're going to give up the kill rounds, but we are going to crush them with the objectives. We are going to own the neutral objective in Collision when that comes up. We are going to own the central zone in the Fortress thing when that comes up. It creates a much more dynamic experience, and it takes these modes that for entire matches can become boring, can become stagnant, can promote metas that are unenjoyable to the masses. You know, Fortress is the classic bubble well mode, and granted, those changes have been made to those supers, but that doesn't change the fact that it completely changes the way, because if you waste your super, you're going to lose the game. So now everybody's holding supers, and everybody comes to the middle, and it's just supers for days. And then we all go back, and then we come back, and it's heavy for days. When you have these differing modes constantly changing, you're creating a more dynamic match. You're keeping players on their toes. You're forcing players to adapt, which is dangerous because a lot of players can't do that. But I think it would be more fun overall. And, you know, Guerrilla, owned by Bungie, owned by Sony. Bungie, owned by Sony. Probably a phone call away. Just be like, hey guys, can you tell us a little bit how that worked? Maybe give us a hand. I know you're working on Horizon, but does anybody remember Killzone multiplayer? Can somebody come over and help us out? It's not impossible. I would love to experiment with that. I cannot tell you with certainty that it would be fun, but I think it sounds novel in a way that Destiny PvP has not been traditionally. And I think it would create an exciting environment. Maybe it doesn't work out, but it sounds cool, and it sounds like something they should try if it is plausible. And maybe that's the thing that makes Banner special. Everybody looks towards Iron Banner because Iron Banner is this fast-paced, objective-changing mode that when it comes up, everybody's like, yes! Finally! I can't wait for Iron Banner. I can't wait for PvP to be fun again. Imagine people saying that. I can't wait for PvP to be fun again when Iron Banner comes back. I've been waiting months for Banner. This is going to be sick. When is the last time anyone was excited for Banner without following up with, I'm excited for Banner until I get this gun, and then I'm never playing it again? Yeah. Guys, if you enjoyed any of these ideas and you thought they were good, let me know. Maybe it catches on. Maybe somebody sees it and is like, wait a minute. It's not a bad idea. These people, they're onto something. If you have ideas, let's keep it civil. You know, let's not just go after Banner and be like, oh, yeah, let me tell you, shakes fist at Cloud. But kind of be a little civil. Let's have a conversation. How do you think realistically? Let's think of constructive feedback. How can we make Iron Banner better? If you have ideas, put them in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video, you know the drill. If you guys want to watch me stream, I do that a couple times a week. Twitch.tv/NightmareCV. I would love it if you came. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.